Let's talk about bad habits. You ever have that feeling where you know exactly what you're supposed to do, but you still find yourself doing the complete opposite? Well, we're going to break down why that happens. And here's a spoiler. It has a lot less to do with willpower than you think, and everything to do with the stories your brain is telling itself.
Okay, so first things first, we need to understand that not all habits are the same. You know, the way a neuroscientist thinks about a habit is actually pretty different from how we talk about our annoying bad habits every day. So on one hand, you've got these purely automatic habits. Think about this. Have you ever been driving and you accidentally take the exit to your old job, even though you haven't worked there in a year? That's your brain just running a program, totally mindless. But the bad habits we really struggle with, like getting stuck scrolling on our phones when we should be working, that's a different beast. It's not just mindless, it's tempting. It's giving us a little hit of reward right now.
And here's the official, nerdy definition from neuroscience, which is kind of fascinating. A true habit is an action that's basically become disconnected from the reward. Classic example, a lab rat. Scientists train it to press a lever to get a tasty food pellet. But then, and get this, they make the food taste awful. And you know what the rat does? It keeps pressing the lever. The action has become so automatic, it doesn't even care that the reward stinks now.
So that brings us to this crucial point. Our worst habits, smoking, eating junk food, you name it, they actually have two parts. First, there's the automaticity challenge, which is just about snapping out of a mindless action. That's about attention. But the much, much harder part is the temptation challenge. This isn't about being mindless. This is a battle of value. You actively want that cookie right now, even though you know being healthy in the long run is a better outcome. So why is that battle so incredibly hard to win? Well, it turns out the whole game is kind of rigged from the start. Our brains have this really powerful, deep-seated bias that makes the present moment, the now, almost impossible to resist. And that bias has a name. It's called delay discounting. It's just a fundamental law of how our minds work. A reward you get tomorrow is worth less to your brain than that exact same reward if you can get it today. And the further out you push that reward, the more its value just shrinks in your mind. That's why the idea of a healthy body 6 months from now just can't compete with a delicious-looking donut that's sitting right in front of you. So let me ask you this. Seriously, what would you choose? $10 right now or $15 in 1 month? Just feel that out for a second. Did you feel that little pull towards the $10, even though you know waiting gets you a 50% return? That gut feeling, that urge for the immediate payoff, that is delay discounting, live and in action. And look, this isn't just some fun little brain teaser. Study after study shows that people who have what's called a steeper discount curve, which just means they have a really strong preference for now over later, are way more likely to struggle with things like addiction, problem gambling, or just getting sucked into the internet for hours. That pull of now is a seriously powerful force. Okay, so if our brains are basically hardwired to chase immediate gratification, are we just doomed? No, not at all. The key to fighting back isn't to just try harder or have more willpower. The key is to be smarter. It's all about framing. How you present the choice to yourself can completely change the outcome. This whole idea comes from the Nobel Prize-winning work of two psychologists, Tversky and Kahneman. And what they discovered is that the story you tell around the facts, the frame you put around the information, can totally flip how people value their options and what they decide to do. This is their most famous experiment, and it's brilliant. Look at this. In both scenarios, the math is identical. But when the choice is framed around saving people, 72% of people play it safe. They lock in the 200 saved lives. But when you frame it around people dying, the choice flips on its head. Now, almost nobody picks the safe option. They take the gamble. The only thing that changed was the story. And this is so relevant to our habits. Why? Because that bad habit is your default. It's your status quo. So giving up that cigarette or saying no to that piece of cake, it registers in your brain as an immediate loss. And we know from their research that losses feel way more painful than gains feel good. The future benefit, being healthy, is just this abstract idea of a gain. And it just can't compete with the sharp, immediate pain of a loss.
So our mission is clear. We have to reframe our choices. We've got to make that future feel way more valuable and make the present temptations seem, well, less important. So how in the world do we do that? Well, let's look at two really powerful techniques.
All right, technique number 1, it's called prospection or mental time travel. It sounds kind of sci-fi, I know, but all it really means is making the future feel less like a vague idea and more like a real concrete place. For instance, studies have shown that people are way more patient when a future reward is tied to a specific date instead of just a generic time interval. March 27th feels real. You can see it on a calendar. It's tangible. 30 days from now is just fuzzy. That simple little shift in framing makes the future reward pop, and it makes it much harder to ignore. Okay, technique number 2 is all about shifting your perspective. It's about pulling the camera back. Instead of getting lost in the weeds of the immediate moment, you zoom out and look at the big picture, the whole forest, not just the one tree in front of you. The theory behind this is called construal level theory. When we're staring at that cookie, we're thinking at a really low level. How do I resist this? It's all about the mechanics of the moment. But when we can force ourselves to think at a high level, to ask, wait, why do I want to be a healthy person in the first place? We connect that choice to our deeper values and goals. And making that shift from the how to the why makes us way more patient and much better at resisting that immediate urge. Okay, but what about that little voice? You know the one that whispers, it's fine, just this once. I'll start for real tomorrow. That's the one that gets us all, right? Well, there's a powerful frame to shut that voice down too. It's a fascinating idea called intrapersonal bargaining, and what you're doing here is reframing a single, small choice into something huge. You're making it a precedent. Suddenly, it's not just about this one moment anymore. It's about what this one moment says about all your future moments. So here's how it works in your head. First, you hear that familiar excuse pop up. One cookie won't hurt. But then, instead of giving in, you hit the brakes and you reframe it. You tell yourself, wait a minute, I've said I'll start tomorrow 1,000 times. This choice isn't about one cookie. This choice is a vote. It's a test to see if my plan to be a healthy person is real or if it's just a joke I tell myself. By tying this one tiny decision to the credibility of your entire goal, you give yourself a massive, immediate reason to do the right thing. So really, the big takeaway here is this. Stop trying to beat your brain with brute force willpower. It's a losing battle. Instead, learn to outsmart it with better framing. It's not about having more discipline. It's about creating more meaning around your choices. So I'll leave you with this question. The next time you feel that pull of temptation, ask yourself, what precedent am I setting right now? What story is this single choice telling my future self?